What if you could get investing advice from Warren Buffett? What about business advice from Mark Cuban? Or learn science from Albert Einstein? All of this is possible using AI. By the end of this video, you're going to understand what are AI personas, why they're going to play a major role in our futures, and how to go about creating one for yourself or for your clients, all without coding. Be sure to stick around till the end of the video because I'll share with you how you can get free access to the persona we're going to be making in this video. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Daniel Hart and I'm building my own AI automation agency. I make these videos to document that process as well as show you just how simple it is to get started using AI. If you like that kind of stuff, leave a like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a new video. So you can basically think of an AI persona as a chatbot that can act and answer questions in the same manner that another person can, right? So a specific person. So it could be Albert Einstein, Warren Buffett, Mark Cuban, the three examples that I gave earlier in the video. If you can amass all of or a lot of text from a certain person or words that they've said and put that into a knowledge base for a chatbot, then all you have to do at that point is just prompt that chatbot to answer questions and give advice or whatever the use case is. Just answer in the style of that person. If it's Warren Buffett, then you can compile a whole litany of things that he said. You can compile words that he's written, put that into a knowledge base, and then be able to query that knowledge base and use a specific prompt in order to get the AI chatbot to answer in the manner of Warren Buffett. And that kind of leads into why I think they're going to play a major role in our future. So to be fully transparent, I actually got the idea for this video from Liam Motley. He's another YouTuber who makes phenomenal videos around AI automation, so you should check him out. But basically, the more and more I think about the different use cases that can be served with an AI persona, the more I'm convinced that it's only a matter of time before we're communicating with an AI persona the same way we would text somebody from our contacts. So if we take that Warren Buffett example, we can have a Warren Buffett contact in our phone and then just text them every time we have any investing questions. So let's say you're trying to value Apple stock, right? Hey Warren, I'm trying to value Apple stock. What are the things that I should look for? And then it'll respond in the same manner that Warren Buffett would, right? Or you can also personify your favorite book or a TV character. Let's take Harvey Specter from Suits as an example. So if you wanted to have an AI Harvey Specter, you would just go create a document containing all of the dialogue that Harvey Specter has said, and then you would train the AI based on that, and then you would make sure that when you're prompting the AI, you would prompt them to respond in the manner of Harvey Specter. Don't make any reference to the fact that there is a knowledge base or anything like that. They should respond as if they themselves are Harvey Specter. And the best part is that all of the responses you'll get will be tailored to your own specific situation, so they can help you out with the problems that you're currently facing. If you guys have any additional use cases that I actually haven't covered in this video, comment them down below. I'm curious to see what use cases you guys think AI personas can solve. Now that all that's out the way, let's make a persona. The persona that we're actually going to be making today in this video is Albert Einstein, arguably the most famous scientist of all time. The first step in creating this AI persona is going to be gathering up information. So the information we're going to be gathering I have 2 books in mind that he's written, and then also a lecture that he gave as well. So I already have one of the books downloaded, and I already have the lecture downloaded, so I'm just going to find the last one. So this website is actually Library Genesis. If you're unfamiliar with it, it's basically just a complete archive of a bunch of different writings. So I actually used this back in college to not pay for textbooks. I literally just would type the name of my textbook, come in here, get the PDF, and download it, right? So I was able to save a lot of money that way. But same thing works for, pieces of nonfiction, fiction, whatever, anything you guys want to read, you can probably find it on Library Genesis. There are some things that I found that aren't on here, like just random books sometimes won't be on here, but for the most part, it should be on here. The book we're actually going to be going for is actually this one, Einstein on Politics. It's just his private thoughts on politics, basically. So you would just come here, click this get up here, and then it'll start downloading. I have a file for it to go to. Let me just rename it Einstein. All right, and then I actually want this in a TXT format, so I'll just show you guys how I do that. So I come to this website, convertio.co. They limit you on how many times you can convert files, but it's a decent amount, so you shouldn't really run into any issues. And it's completely free. I haven't even signed up or logged in or anything like that, right? It's just a free website to convert your files. So we're just going to come here to choose file, and then I am going to choose Einstein on politics, and I'm converting it from a PDF to a text file because I'm only concerned with the actual text. Like if there's any pictures or anything, I actually don't know if there are any pictures, but if there are any pictures or anything else inside of this book, we don't really care about it because it'll be viewable in a PDF format, but this is just going to be used as a knowledge base for our AI bot, so we don't really care about all that stuff. So we can just convert it to a TXT file. Perfect, it's done. Download it. And we're basically done on gathering our information. I actually gathered the other two, the lecture and his other book, Einstein on Einstein, prior to this, but I just wanted to show you guys the process of how you can go about finding the works and then converting them to whatever file type you want. So the next step in the process is actually just going to be using Stack AI. So Stack AI is another no-code web builder where you can build, AI applications pretty fast. Similar to BotPress or VoiceFlow or things like that. It's just another tool, and they provide a lot of powerful integrations that you can't really get with VoiceFlow. So that's why we're using Stack AI as a part of it. We're going to use VoiceFlow as well, but Stack AI is what we're going to use to host our knowledge base. So we're going to create a new project, select empty project, and boom, we have our new canvas. So we only have our inputs and outputs right now. We need to add a couple of things. So I'm going to need to add our LLM, which is just going to be our AI integration, and then we're going to need our knowledge base. So I'm just going to grab these documents and drag them in here. And the cool thing about Stack AI is that you can see these little notes right here. It tells you which nodes need to be connected where. So this is our input. I'm going to connect this to our input query node, and then this says to LLM, so I'm going to put this to our LLM, and then our input actually needs to connect to our LLM as well. So our AI model is going to be receiving data from both the input and whatever information they can take from the knowledge base and the vector database as well. So, and then we're going to need to connect the completion step to the output. So that's basically it. We're just, for the setup, we're just going to need to go in and upload our files. So I'm just going to select all of the text files. And wait for them to complete. They're pending right now. So now that that's done, the next thing that we have to do is actually configure our AI model. So we're going to have to give it instructions. These are just the basic ones that it gives. We're not going to be using that. I have a custom script a custom prompt that you can use as the instructions. It'll be in the resource hub, so stay tuned to the end to find out how you can get access to that. But it'll be freely accessible. And then I would say just take this prompt, put it in. If you want to use a different AI persona, just take the prompt that I've given you. Ask ChatGPT to change it from Albert Einstein to Warren Buffett or whoever the AI persona you're going to be, and then it'll just rewrite this whole thing. So basically, I'm telling it that it is Albert Einstein, a theoretical physicist known for developing the theory of relativity. You also discuss the process of scientific inquiry. I tell it to always answer the query directly in as few words as possible, only provide long-form answers if the user has specifically asked for an explanation, theory, or other type of output that requires a lot of text. Assess the provided context to decide if it's useful or relevant. So the provided context are the 3 files that we've uploaded, right? So that's going to be its context, and you'll see that a little bit when we format our prompt down here. But if it doesn't, then it'll just say, if it doesn't feel that the information inside of the knowledge base is relevant, it'll just respond with an I don't know. When it comes to specific information about physics and science, only use information provided in the context, and never mention the context snippets you're provided with. It should seem like you possess this information and merely sharing your knowledge as Albert Einstein himself, right? And then you should always speak in the first person. So there's a bit more things in this prompt, and we could break this prompt down and see and tell you why it works, but just take my word for it. This is a great prompt. It works. So yeah, after that, we are going to configure the prompt. So it's going to be, all right, so basically it's saying that the context that you're given, which are we referred to up here in the instructions, the context that you're given is DOC is doc EMB 0, which is actually the variable given to the knowledge base, right? So doc EMB 0 is the context that we're going to be using. And then the question that the user is asking it, denoted by Q, is IN0, which is from our input, right? And then our output is going to be out0, which we'll use when we're in VoiceFlow when we're making the API call to Stack AI, but for now, we don't really need this. So, and then the answer will be the answer that the model itself provides. So this is just a basic setup, and we should be ready to test it out. So if I put in why physics, let's ask him that question. And then we'll run this one time. We should get our output over here. Physics is the fundamental science that helps us understand the natural world and the laws that govern it. Sounds like Einstein to me. We should also configure our model and choose which model we're actually going to be using. So right now, this answer was generated with 3.5 turbo. We're going to choose 3.5 turbo 1106. And if you actually pay for Stack AI, which is pretty expensive, not going to lie, but you provide your own API key, you'll be able to use the GPT-4 models rather than just GPT 3.5. But GPT 3.5 is more than enough for this demo that we're having today. So it works. We're going to save it, publish it, and then go to the export builder. And then API Endpoint, because we're just going to hit this with an API from VoiceFlow. So we're actually done right now on Stack AI, and we can actually go over to VoiceFlow. So here we are in VoiceFlow. I'm actually going to be providing you guys with the template for this assistant. So you don't actually have to come up here and click on new assistant and then create a new one. You can actually just come over here, click on import.vf file. It'll be for free. I'll tell you how to get access to my resource hub at the end of the video, but it'll be for free in my resource hub. You just come up here, click on import file, and then you're going to import the file and then open the assistant. So here we are on the canvas. So you can see that there's only 4 blocks. There is our introduction, then there is a post request sent, there's an API request sent to Stack AI, and then that response is showed to the user, and then the user can respond to it, and then it just goes in a loop like that forever. If the API request fails, then it'll say, my apologies, I must be tired. Can you say that again? And then it'll wait for the user to respond, and then it'll keep going in this loop forever, basically. So in order to change this, what we're actually going to need to do is come in here and change the API endpoint. So if we go back to Stack AI, we have to copy this link and paste it right here. And then we're going to need to, if you click on show token right here, it'll highlight it'll say bearer, and then it'll give you this long string of numbers and letters. Just copy that. That's your token. And then make sure that in the header section you have one header that says authorization, and the key to that authorization is going to be bearer space and then that long string. And then the second one is going to be content type application JSON. So you can see in the same thing is present in the Stack AI documentation. Headers, there's 2 of them. There's authorization, and then there's content type application JSON, right? And then the body of the request, we are going to be sending IN0 to this to Stack AI. So if you remember, IN0 is going to be our input. So we're actually going to be, whatever the user says, it's going to be sent to Stack AI in replace of Y physics. And then it's going to run through this, create our answer. The answer is going to be sent back to VoiceFlow and then displayed to the user. So that's the basic workflow of it. So yeah, IN0 is going to be linked to our last utterance, which is the variable that we use to capture whatever the user asks in the chat. So whether it's after the introduction or if it's after the API response, we're saving it in last utterance every single time. So this is the message that we're sending, and then we also need to capture a response. So the response that the API gives us is the output. And the output is going to be, actually it'd just be easier to show you using a sample request. So we're just going to send this request, and then I'll put Y physics. Generate. And then you can see that it returns with outputs, and then one of the outputs is out0, our only output, and then it'll tell you this long answer, right? So in order to capture this, we need to put this in capture response, and then it's actually outputs.out0. So originally, when I was first doing this, I put just out0, and I wasn't getting anything in the response, and I couldn't figure out why. But the reason is because, so if we regenerate this message, it's because the name is outputs first, and within outputs, it's out0. So whenever you're working with APIs, it's important to understand the structure of the response that you're getting. That way you know how to work with it. So it's actually outputs.out0. That's how you capture that response, and then we're going to apply that to a variable that we just created called API response. So after the API call is successful, it will move here and it will display our API response to the user, and then the user can then go on and keep having a conversation with Albert Einstein forever. So at this point, I think we're ready to actually test it out. So let us go and run this. Hello there, I'm Albert Einstein, the renowned physicist. It's a pleasure to meet you. How may I assist you today? Hi, Albert. What should I ask? Why do you love physics? I love physics because it allows me to explore the fundamental principles of nature and understand the universe's inner workings. Why not mathematics? I chose physics over mathematics because of my stronger interest in the study of nature and the pursuit of more profound knowledge of the basic principles of physics. Let's ask, how did you die? Let's see if he knows. Smart. He said, so if you remember, a part of our prompt, our initial instructions is to say if it's not in our knowledge base, then to just say, I don't know. And that's a great response because obviously he doesn't, or it's not going to be in his autobiography or the book on his views on politics about how he died because he wrote it, right? So that doesn't make any sense. But it makes a lot of sense that he wouldn't know that, so I'm glad he said I don't know. And there you have it. We've created an AI Albert Einstein that we can communicate with whenever we want. If you want access to this persona, all the resources will be in my free Skool community down below. and you'll see all the resources from this video. Thanks for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.